Scientists once believed the story of human evolution was simple. Modern humans evolved in Africa, spread across the planet, and gradually replaced every other human species they encountered. The human family tree looked clean, organized, and predictable. But in 2009, a massive DNA study shattered that assumption. Researchers analyzed the genomes of nearly 1,000 people from populations around the world, hoping to map humanity's genetic history. Most of the results matched expectations. Europeans clustered with Europeans, East Asians grouped together, and African populations revealed the deepest roots of human ancestry. Yet one population refused to fit the model. Their DNA told a story so strange that it forced scientists to rethink everything they thought they knew about the human past. The people at the center of this mystery lived on the Andaman Islands, a remote chain of tropical islands in the Bay of Bengal between India and Myanmar. For thousands of years, these islands remained isolated from the outside world. Dense rainforests covered the land, and the tribes living there survived through hunting, fishing, and gathering, much as their ancestors had done for countless generations. When European sailors first encountered the Andamanese in the 18th century, they were immediately struck by how different they looked from the surrounding populations of mainland Asia. The Andamanese were short in stature, had dark skin, and tightly curled hair. Early explorers speculated wildly about their origins, with some even suggesting they were descendants of Africans who had somehow reached the islands long ago, but no one truly understood where they came from. That mystery remained unsolved until modern genetic sequencing finally provided answers. When scientists examined the DNA of the Andamanese tribes in the early 2000s, the results stunned the scientific community. The Andamanese were not closely related to Africans, nor were they genetically similar to mainland Indians. Instead, they appeared to belong to one of the oldest surviving human lineages outside Africa. Their ancestors had likely left Africa during the very first wave of human migration around 50,000 to 70,000 years ago. While later migrations reshaped the genetics of most of Eurasia, the Andaman Islands remained isolated enough to preserve this ancient genetic signal almost untouched. In many ways, the Andamanese were a living snapshot of some of the earliest humans who ever left Africa. But the biggest surprise was still hidden inside their genome. Scientists discovered that the Andamanese carried significant amounts of Denisovan DNA. Denisovans were an extinct species of ancient humans first identified from a few fossil fragments discovered in Siberia in 2010. Researchers initially assumed Denisovans lived only in northern Asia, near the cave where their remains had been found. Yet the highest levels of Denisovan ancestry were not found in Siberia or China. Instead, they appeared in populations thousands of miles away, including the people of Papua New Guinea, Aboriginal Australians, Melanesians, and the Andamanese. This discovery completely changed the accepted model of human migration. If isolated island populations carried Denisovan DNA, then Denisovans must have once occupied a far larger territory than scientists realized. They likely spread across much of Southeast Asia, interacting and interbreeding with early modern humans as they migrated eastward. The ancestors of the Andamanese probably encountered these archaic humans tens of thousands of years ago before becoming isolated on their islands. That meant the human story was not one of a single species replacing all others. It was a story of multiple human species meeting, mixing, and exchanging genes over thousands of years. The deeper researchers looked, the stranger the story became. In 2018, scientists studying Denisovan ancestry realized that modern humans had inherited DNA from at least two distinct Denisovan populations. One came from the Siberian Denisovans already known from fossils, but another appeared to have lived much farther south in Southeast Asia. These southern Denisovans contributed heavily to the ancestry of populations like the Andamanese and Papuans. Suddenly, the human family tree no longer resembled a neat branching diagram. It looked more like a tangled web, filled with extinct groups crossing paths and exchanging DNA over immense stretches of time. Then came the most unsettling discovery of all. Hidden deep within the Andamanese genome were fragments of DNA that matched neither modern humans, Neanderthals, nor Denisovans. Scientists called them ghost lineages. These genetic fragments belong to an unknown human population that has never been identified in the fossil record. No bones, tools, or artifacts have ever been linked to them. The only evidence they existed at all is the DNA still carried by living Andamanese people today. Somewhere in prehistoric Asia, another human group once walked the earth, interacted with the ancestors of the Andamanese, and then vanished so completely that only traces of their genetic code survived. This revelation transformed our understanding of evolution. Humans were never alone. For most of history, multiple intelligent human species coexisted across the planet. Neanderthals lived in Europe, Denisovans spread across Asia, and other unidentified groups likely survived in isolated regions. They hunted, built tools, adapted to different climates, and occasionally had children with one another. Over time, most disappeared, leaving behind only fragments of DNA inside modern populations. The Andamanese became one of the clearest living records of this forgotten world. Yet the people carrying this extraordinary genetic history are themselves at risk of disappearing. Colonialism, disease, and outside contact devastated the Andamanese tribes over the last 2 centuries. Populations that once numbered in the thousands declined to only a few hundred individuals. Some tribes, like the Sentinelese, continue to reject all outside contact entirely, defending their isolation with force. Governments now protect these tribes from interference because even a single disease outbreak could wipe them out. Scientists increasingly view their genomes as priceless records of human prehistory, containing clues about extinct species and migrations that may never be discovered elsewhere. The Andamanese did not simply challenge the human family tree, they proved it was incomplete. Their DNA revealed that human evolution was not a straight line, but a vast network of encounters between different species spread across continents and islands over hundreds of thousands of years. Every fragment of their genome carries echoes of ancient people whose names, languages, and civilizations vanished long before written history began. In the end, the Andamanese remind us that the story of humanity is far more complex, mysterious, and interconnected than anyone once imagined.